This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
This show is brought to you by Pet King Brands, the makers of Zymox and Oratine.
It's Oh Behave with Arden Moore, the show that teaches you how to have harmony in the household with your pets. Join Arden as she travels coast to coast to help millions better understand why cats and dogs do what they do. Get the latest scoop on famous faces, their perfectly pampered pets, and who's walking who in Rin Tin Tinseltown. From famous pet experts and best-selling authors to television and movie stars, you'll get the latest buzz from wagging tongues and tails. Garner great pet tips and have a doggone fur-flying fun time. So get ready for the pause and applause as we unleash your Oh Behave host, America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore.
Welcome to the Oh Behave show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore. Our special guest today was a drill sergeant in the Army. Now, I can't wait for her to give a military cadence or two. And now, though, she is keeping in step with a focused mission, and that is to train service dogs for military veterans, wounded warriors, first responders, and many, many others who have given so much for all of us. It is an honor to welcome to our show the founder of Mutts with a Mission, Brooke Corson. Welcome to the show, Brooke.
Thank you very much for having me. It's an honor.
All right. Well, I'm not military, but I still want to salute you for all you do for Mutts with a Mission and on all the other things you do. And listeners, I hope you'll know you're going to be inspired by her. But we got to pay for the show first. So we got to take a commercial break. So you know the drill. That's going to be a key word in the show. Drill. Sit and stay. We will be right back.
Time for a pause. 4 furry ones, actually. Sit and stay. Oh Behave will be right back.
Hey, pet pals, Arden Moore here. Got dog? Of course you do. Our friends at Carlson Pet Products have some great products to keep your dog happy and safe. They have a lineup of decorative and durable doorway gates. Hey, I got 2, and I love them. They keep my dogs, Kona and Emma, out of the 2 rooms where my cats' litter boxes are. My cats are able to slip in and out of the small opening of the gate when needed. I installed these gates in minutes. The gates are easy to use and match my decor. Learn more by dashing over to carlsonpetproducts.com today. You'll be glad you did.
Get 25% off your order plus free shipping using the promo code PETLIFE at carlsonpetproducts.com.
Let's talk pets on PetLifeRadio.com. Oh Behave is back with more tail-wagging ways to achieve harmony in the household with your pets. Now, back to your fetching host, America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore.
Welcome back to the Oh Behave show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore. Our special guest today is Brooke Corson. She's the founder of this great nonprofit group in Virginia Beach. It's called Mutts with a Mission. Now, I met Brooke last month, and I was, you know me, in a Zoom class. No, not the Zumba. No. I'm talking Zoom, the thing we all wish we had bought stock in the fall of 2019. And so when I am not here hosting the Oh Behave show, as you know, I wear a lot of collars in the pet world. And one that I'm very passionate about is pet safety. And so I'm a master certified pet first aid and CPR instructor. Brooke was one of my students in our Pro Pet Hero instructor training program, and she did great in the class. So in addition to being a former drill sergeant, she's a mom. She is the founder of Mutts with a Mission. She can now add certified pet first aid and CPR instructor to your growing list of titles, Brooke. What do you think? So glad to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Yeah, I had a great time in the instructor course. Learned a lot. Really had a good time.
All right. And it was really boring, right?
No, yes. No, I actually learned a lot. I had a good time.
Good. Well, I think sometimes you learn when you can smile and all that. And before we dive into your Mutts with a Mission, because that's a big deal, guys. And after the show, please go to muttswithamission.com. Keeps it easy, muttswithamission.com. But I really want to find out your Army background. So how many years were you in the Army, Brooke?
So I was in the Army for 8 years. I went in as a reservist, and I spent about 3.5 years active duty just through. I was down at Fort Benning for 2 years. I was mobilized several times. So just only 8 years, unfortunately.
When you were final rank, what was it?
I was an E6. I was a staff sergeant.
Oh, that's like my wife, Julie. She was in the E6 staff sergeant, but she was a combat MP, one of the first to get in. But you were a drill sergeant?
I was. So I was, my MOS was I was a supply sergeant. And then I went to drill sergeant school, and I was also a combatives instructor.
Oh, I'm scared now. I'm so glad we're on radio. What does that mean, combative instructor?
So that's the Army's hand-to-hand combat program.
Oh, okay. So you can handle yourself.
Yes.
What about, though, being a drill sergeant? I mean, that's pretty cool. And I already teed you up. People want to hear a cadence or something. Can you, and it's oh behave, you can say whatever you want to say. But when you were trying to get that rank and file to know their left foot from their right foot or whatever, do you have one you want to share? Come on.
Let's see. So it's, with cadences, they're not always, you sing them on your left foot. It's not always like left, right.
Okay.
Like you do have one is left, right or left, right or left, right or left, your left, right. Your left, 2, 3, 4. Picking up your left, 2, 3, 4. Picking up your left, right or left, your left, right or left. So that's one of them.
America's Got Talent is on the other line. I don't know.
Yeah, they're saying please don't apply.
But seriously, I mean, you're singing. But what do you think about why is a military cadence so important? It seems to me it builds unity.
It does. It builds unity. I mean, it also helps, give that, they call it, esprit de corps. When you have in a platoon, you start off with roughly 55 privates, different branches or different things.
Okay.
But it gets, everybody's on the same foot. They're all in step. They're all singing, it gives them something else to think about as well. But mainly it's, one of the big things is it builds that esprit de corps.
I like that. I like that a lot. And when you were growing up, did you tell mommy and daddy, when I grow up, I want to be a drill sergeant?
I did not. No. So I grew up in coastal Virginia. So I grew up in once I lived in South Carolina until I was 10. And then we moved back up where my family lived, was Newport News, Virginia. So we were near Langley Air Force Base. So we'd hear, we'd get to watch the F-15s and all that stuff flying over. So I wanted to do that for a while. And then for a while, I wanted to be a Navy SEAL, except for I was, born female. So that's not going to happen.
What a lame excuse.
No, it's true.
I know. I hope one day it'll change.
I don't know. The physical requirements and Israel used to have females in their special forces units. And they found that, unfortunately, when the women got injured, more time was spent on them than should be. And it just added another level of complexity to the unit and things like that. And so I think that me personally, as Brooke Corson, I think there are some things that should be left all male just because of it's just more cohesive. And I mean, you know what, even in my prime when I was, doing top 3 in triathlons and stuff like that, I'm not going to be able to pick up my, 225-pound husband and carry him for a mile to safety with his rucksack and mine. So there's a reason for that, but that's another story for another day.
Yeah. So this brings us to, let's talk a little bit about how this idea of Mutts with a Mission came to be, because I believe that it was a dog named Angus, right?
It was Angus in a whole series of situations. Yes. So I was mobilized down to Fort Benning for 2 years, and I worked with the Infantry Training Brigade. So I worked with the unit where they train privates.
Okay.
They go through what's called ITV. So what they do with infantry privates is they do 16 weeks straight. Like they stay in the same, in the same platoon for the entire time. So they do their basic training and their AIT. So they spend 16 weeks in the same platoon. And what was happening was I was down there from 2004 to 2006. So, right in, we were in Iraq pretty And we'd been in Iraq for a little while. And what the Army was doing was they were pulling infantrymen back from the combat zones, sending them to drill sergeant school, and then sending them to be drill sergeants. And so, it's a lot of stress to be a drill sergeant as it is, but to have just come out of being in combat 24/7 for however long they were there, anywhere from a year to 18 months, that's a lot. So what I'd see is, these guys would come in my office and they would, my drill sergeants would come in, because at that time I was a supply sergeant, and they would come in and I'd been there for about a year and a half. And I decided so my husband was up in New Jersey and I was down in Georgia. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to get a dog. I want a dog to train to blood trail wounded deer, and I'm going to take him with me to work. So I did. He would go on road marches and things like that.
What kind of dog was Angus? What kind of dog?
He was a Cairn Terrier. So think Toto from The Wizard of Oz.
Oh my gosh. Toto with stripes.
Yes. Yeah. And so he was a pretty cool dog. And I found that drill sergeants would come in, even once word got around that I had him, drill sergeants from other platoons and other companies would start coming down. And they would just go sit in the chair and call him up, and you could see, the stress of the day would just kind of melt, and they would just sit there and talk to him and pet him. I would have guys come in my office and they wouldn't even say hello to me. They would just come like, "Where's Angus?" Yeah, he'd come out, like he slept on a dog bed under my desk, and he would come out. Or if we were on a road march or something, they would see him and they'd be like, "Hey," because when he would get tired, because he was so little, I would kneel down and tap the top of my rucksack, and he would jump up there and lay down. So
yeah. Well, you just hit something that's really important. And I think this is what got you onto the Mutts with a Mission, is you can be the toughest badass on the planet, but stress doesn't care who you are, what your gender is. So tell us, that can really take a wallop to somebody mentally and physically, right?
Absolutely. After I came off of mobilization down there, I had to go get what my husband says is a real job. I had to go back to civilian life, which was, even for a reservist, was very difficult. Even though I was stateside, you get used to doing things a certain way. And, I was a combatives instructor while I was down at Benning. I was a supply sergeant. I was controlling I was responsible for my company and stuff like that. So, you get very set in your ways and get used to a certain environment. And as a civilian in the regular Army and when you're active duty, they kind of step you down and send you to classes to prep you to go into the civilian life. But when you come off of mobilization as a reservist, it's like, all right, bye, go back, And, there's a lot of studies being done on the regular, we always call it the regular Army, the active duty guys. But I think a lot of these studies miss the reservists and National Guardsmen. And so I'm not going to ever say that I had PTSD. I would say I probably had some reacclimation difficulties.
Okay.
Because I had, I was working and people just weren't doing things in a timely manner, and it was very frustrating.
I said, drop and give me 20. I'm at McDonald's. I want my price now.
Right. And so, the big thing was I started losing friends. I would get a phone call, "Hey, did you hear about, drill sergeant so-and-so or, sergeant so-and-so," or something like that. And, he committed suicide. And it really started, I got to thinking, I grew up training dogs. My mom trained dogs. We trained dogs growing up. We showed dogs, did a whole bunch of stuff.
What kind of breeds?
Oh, gosh. We had Irish setters. My mom had bulldogs.
Nice.
She had a Groningendale. I had a Pembroke Welsh Corgi. My brother.
I did too.
Did you? Okay, yeah.
I named him Jazz. He was. I say corgis are brilliant. They're like the cross between Robin Williams and the Three Stooges.
Absolutely. And then I had I had a couple Papillons.
Wow, you covered the grid, girl.
Yes, we did. We had some good old mutts too in there. So my brother had a smooth fox terrier and a Cocker Spaniel. So so we kind of ran the gambit. But and I started talking to my husband. And
you want to give him a shout out?
Oh yeah, he's been extremely supportive. He couldn't ask for more. He's part of the reason why I started Mutts with a Mission.
What's his name?
His name is Joe Corson.
Hi, Joe.
And he kind of gave me, I kept talking to him saying, I got to do something. And he kind of gave me the either, do something or shut up about it. And so 13 years later, here we are. So sometimes much to his dismay, but in the early stages, but he was very supportive, and so he, like I said, he kind of put my feet to the fire and said, quit talking and do something.
Hey guys, speaking of talking, we're speaking with Brooke Corson. She is the founder of Mutts with a Mission. We're going to have to take a quick commercial break, but when we get back, we're going to dive right into what this nonprofit, it's a game changer. So everybody, you know the drill. Sit and stay. We'll be right back.
Time for a walk on the red carpet, of course. Oh Behave will be back in a flash right after these messages.
Pause up, everyone. Arden Moore here, the host of the O Behave Show. Raise your paw if you love frozen desserts. I know I do. And so do my canine trio of Bujo, Kona, and Emma. They drool with delight when offered this sweet treat. And now all dogs will have plenty to yap about. That's because Ben & Jerry's has just unleashed not one, but 2 doggy desserts. Your dog can enjoy the Ponce Mix made with peanut butter and pretzel swirls, or Rosie's Batch made with pumpkin and mini cookies. Or put a little of both in their bowl. Yum yum for the tum-tum. Now, when you treat yourself to a bowl of your favorite Ben & Jerry's ice cream, mine is the classic Cherry Garcia, your dogs can enjoy the Ponce Mix or Rosie's Batch or a blend of both. Do you know what time it is? Why, it's Ben & Jerry's time. I see happy Bujo, Kona, and Emma heading my way. Check out the Ben & Jerry's doggy desserts at benjerry.com. That's BenJerry.com. Pause up. Hey, pet pals, Arden Moore here. Welcome to spring and summer, the onset of itchy skin and allergy season. Is your pet dealing with itchy skin, hot spots, and even ear infections? Help is here. It is Zymox shampoo and conditioner to the rescue. Not only is this a shampoo and conditioner great for general bathing and healthy skin support, but it is the go-to shampoo and conditioner for itchy pets. Its patented enzyme formula is loaded with antibacterial and antifungal properties to ease the itch and stop the scratching. And as an added bonus, Zymox shampoos and conditioners give off a lovely, pleasant, non-medicine smell. For over 20 years, Zymox products have been helping pets find relief from many health conditions. All Zymox skin and ear products get their effectiveness from enzymes. Zymox contains no antibiotics and no petroleum byproducts, just the soothing power of enzymes. Zymox can be found at your veterinary clinic, most pet specialty stores, and online. To learn more, dash over to www.zymox.com. That's ZYMOX for your pet's sake.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Hey everybody, this is Stephen Weber reminding you to always listen to Arden Moore on O Behave, the best show on Pet Life Radio.
We're back from the lot. Just checked the paper and we had a record showing at the box. The letterbox, that is. Now back to O Behave. Here's Arden.
Welcome back to the O Behave Show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore. We're speaking with Brooke Corson. She is the founder of Mutts with a Mission. It's based out east in Virginia. They just recently moved, but let's talk about Mutts with a Mission. It's a nonprofit. You've been at it for how many years now?
13 now.
13 years. Lucky 13. And so tell people what Mutt with a Mission's mission is. How's that?
So our mission is to provide highly trained service dogs for veterans, wounded warriors, first responders, and law enforcement officers who have either line of duty or service-connected disabilities.
Okay. That's a big mission. I know you're big on taking on big missions, but training a dog to be a service dog is not one of those overnights.
No, it's not. No, a lot of people think it is, but it's really not. It takes about 2 years.
Yeah. Because I'm just thinking of some of the crazy labs that their brain hasn't caught up with their body. And they're like, okay. Oh, I'm now mature. And they're like wine. It takes a bit of while, doesn't it?
That is true. Yes. Especially some of the boys. They take a little longer.
Yeah. So what kind of dogs do you normally have that make good candidates to be service dogs?
So normally what we use, we are accredited through an organization called Assistance Dogs International.
ADI.
ADI, yes. Yep. And so we use a lot of labs, mainly labs. We have a few Goldens in our program. We have a couple Golden Lab crosses that we've gotten through ADI through their breeding co-op. And then we also we're a little different because of the individuals that we service. Sometimes we have guys who are over, 6 foot, 6'6", something like that, and they need a mobility dog. So where a lab's not going to cut it, we will try to find a Great Dane, or we've actually even had success with English Mastiffs.
Really? Nice.
Yes.
Wow. That's pretty impressive. Mutts with a Mission, you guys have done all your paperwork. You are a nonprofit. I was doing a little digging and I was pretty impressed because you have now placed service dogs in 11 states. 85%, 85 cents out of every dollar is going to the programs. And you have like an army, look at the words I'm using here, army of folks that are sponsoring. About 90,000 people are helping out, right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we have a phenomenal support base. We're definitely blessed.
But that didn't happen overnight, Brooke. So, I mean, what do you think it is about Mutts with a Mission that is drawing the attention of people who either need a dog or want to help somebody get a dog?
One of the things is we try to maintain a family atmosphere. So we try to be approachable. And then we are very, very, very specific about the dogs we select. Not every dog can be a service dog, right. Especially being in the area we are. We have a lot of, so where we are on the East Coast is where the East Coast SEAL teams are based out of. So we'll get people, they're like, I want a Belgian Malinois. And I'm like, well, that's a terrible dog for a service dog work. And, you'll have your outliers. You'll have your one, 7 billion Malinois that would actually be happy doing that work.
But they're better as police dogs, aren't they?
Absolutely. They like to put their mouth on everything.
Yeah, you don't want them chewing on your veterinary.
Right. We always tell people, think about it. This dog doesn't want to go lay on the floor at the VA for, 5-6 hours while you have an appointment. So I try to be very, very aware about having the right dog for the right job.
I like that.
So we're very specific about the dogs that we bring into the program and we train. And so I really want these guys I hear all kinds of horror stories from other organizations, I paid $30,000 for this dog. I got a 6-month-old puppy that still goes to the bathroom on the floor. Or I got a dog from this organization that's bitten 2 people. And I don't want to be one of, I tell my people, because they'll send me these links, these videos and things. I'm like, all I can do is make sure that the dogs that Mutts with a Mission sends out are the best dogs possible.
I like that. Yeah. Well, you have a quote and I hope it's accurate. I'm a news hound. So I was doing my homework on you and you have a great quote. Someone said, Becca from your Mutts with a Mission says, our dogs are considered durable medical equipment. What does that mean? So once a service dog graduates, in the eyes of the law, it's a wheelchair. It's a walker, it's a cane, and so that's what the law views them as, for the Americans with Disabilities Act and their access and things like that, but to their handler, they're priceless. Yes, they're medical equipment, but then they're also, a lifeline, a way for them to regain the independence that they sacrificed for us. So that means their medical bills are paid, right? So if they are, if they're with the veterans through the Veterans Administration, yes, we can, because we are accredited through Assistance Dogs International, we're able to get the dogs as what's called dog of record. So they're able to get their medical treatment paid for, the working life of the dog. And then they also are able to travel internationally as a service dog. Nice. Well, on your site, Mutts with a Mission, Brooke, there was a whole checklist of some of the things that these dogs are trained to do. And turn on the lights. I know that sounds very simple, but that's a big deal, isn't it? It is, especially, we get these guys who, have done 11, 12, 13 tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, and, take your infantrymen or even your combat MPs who are out clearing buildings day after day after day after day. Some of these people may not leave their houses, not because they're afraid of going out. It's that when they get home, they get that anxiety of, now I have to go clear my house because what if someone came in, and that's just because of their experience of doing it time after time after time. That's their reality. Right.
And so they feel that they need to, so the dog can go in. I mean, I'm notorious myself, and I don't have, thank God, I don't have PTSD. I'll be like, oh yeah, I'll be home before dark, and I don't leave a light on. I get home, 9, 10 o'clock, and it's pitch black, right? So, they can send a dog into a room, and the dog can go through the house and turn on the lights as needed.
I like
that helps alleviate some of that feeling of having to go into that heightened state of, not necessarily say anxiety, but just the heightened emotional state of, now I've got to go clear the house, like I'm going to ramp up for it.
Well, you also said that we're out and about and people are still socially distancing. But if you've got a service dog, that's a built-in 6-foot space, isn't it?
I'd like to say yes, but no. And this is one thing that we actually have to prep our teams for, is that people can be rude. They will come up and they'll pet your service dog and they'll read to you the please do not pet patch. As they're petting your dog that they're not supposed to be petting. Some people, are more respectful about it, but we do teach commands. So there's no aggression allowed in our program. I mean, if we have even one incident about, a dog growls at a person or a kid while they're out or something like that, then we will drop them from the program and find them a good pet home. But, these dogs we teach them a command, so they kind of come and create a little bit of space where they just stand in front of their handler. So people automatically give, some space if they need it. But one thing that people don't necessarily realize when they get a service dog is that a service dog for, PTSD, for psychiatric disabilities, so they're an additional modality of treatment to whatever you're getting.
They're tuning into the emotional state of that person, right?
Right. And so they have to, they have to be a very steady dog, but also that's going to invite public interaction. People may come up and say, oh, yeah, you know what, you're at the library and you have your service dog. They may come up and say, oh, what a beautiful, well-behaved dog. And so where these people may have socially isolated before, they're going to have more social interaction, which is part of, their forward progress in life. And it's, where, maybe before their military service, they were a very outgoing, person, talked with a lot of people. After their experiences, they withdrawn into themselves. They're not as, outgoing. And that dog helps them to break that barrier again and be able to talk with people like they used to.
Well, one of the things you have on your Mutts with a Mission website is provide tactile stimulation during a flashback or anxiety attack. What's that in English?
So the dog will actually come perform a command. We call it lap up, where they will either put their head, or depending on the size of the dog, right? We're not going to teach a mastiff to put his feet in someone's lap, or their feet into the person's lap. And basically, until they receive the response that they're trained to receive, they will continue to nudge the person until that person actually makes contact with them.
I like that. Do you ever wish, Brooke, that you could come back as a dog, a service dog?
No, they work really, really hard.
You work pretty hard. I mean, seriously. It is a dedicated 4-legger.
They really, really are. And, we have some phenomenal dogs out there working that I'm just so proud of. And not only am I proud of the dogs, but I'm proud of their handlers. It's a big step to say, yep, you know what, I need help, and I need help in the form of a service dog. But then the strides that these guys and girls have made in forward progress, it makes me so proud of them for, reaching out and realizing they need the help.
Well, I know on your website, you did a shout out. There's a lot of people involved, but if you just want to say hello, you've got like Jerry Clay, a puppy raiser, and Johnny Ao, who's a service dog handler. So you want to do a little shout out?
Oh, yeah. Johnny and Jerry and Sherry. I mean, we just have a phenomenal crew that helps us. Mission Barbecue sponsors one of our dogs. I mean, they're awesome. We can roll up. We were in Florida picking up some puppies from a sister program, and we went to Mission Barbecue in Orlando. And they're like, oh, yeah. I'm like, it's this puppy's first outing. And usually if we're home in Virginia, that's one of our puppy's first outings is to Mission Barbecue. And
you got a couple of events coming up in August. Guys, go to Mutts with a Mission. But August 21st, you're going to do a 5K. And then my more favorite one is August 22nd. You're doing something at a brewery.
Yes, the Farmhouse Brewery after the day after the 5K. So we do have a virtual option for the 5K as well. So
okay.
Anybody that's out out and about in the U.S. that wants to do it, they're more than welcome to sign up. Johnny has designed pretty cool. The medals for the race are pretty cool. He does a nice job with that.
So what can we do to help? How do people help out you to help out those that have served for us? And I like that you include first responders. So you're covering a big group of dedicated people, military and paramedics, you name it.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I mean, these men and women here at home, they're lifesavers, just like our guys and girls overseas. So donations are always great, and my people would be upset if I didn't say that. We need money to run the program and get these dogs and train them and things like that. Feed them. Feed them. They like to eat. Labs like to eat. So we use lots of treats and food. But because this is such a it's an epidemic of, our veterans and our first responders and our law enforcement officers needing these dogs. If you live in the, Virginia Beach area within like 2-hour radius, we'd love to have you as a puppy raiser. If you don't, I would say go onto the Assistance Dogs International website and look up a program near you, because puppy raisers are our greatest resource, but they're also our hardest resource to get. And people say, well, I couldn't do it because I have to give the dog up, in about 1.5 years, 2 years. But when you see the change that it makes in these individuals' lives, and even some of them will say, I went from, like Johnny will tell you, he's got 3 kids, and his youngest is, I have to think, so his youngest is the same age as my youngest, so she's 10. Super outgoing, super cute kid, and she does a lot of stuff. And before he didn't go out as much and attend her stuff, and now since he has his Eclipse, he goes out and goes to dinner and stuff like that. And I mean, that story just repeats itself with so many of our people.
It's important. It's quality of life. It's quality of life. Hey, guys, we got to wrap this up, but I want to salute you. I did it with my left hand. Oh, man, I'll never make it in the Army. I just want to salute you, Brooke. We're talking to Brooke Corson. She is the founder of Mutts with a Mission, and I really do applaud all that you and your team are doing. Any parting message you want to tell our many, many listeners?
Just, we really appreciate it. I appreciate the time. I could not do this without my team. I have a phenomenal team of staff and puppy raisers and support in the community. And just take that step. And even if you can't do it with Mutts with a Mission, go to the ADI website and find another program that's, we consider all ADI programs sister programs. Help out another one. You can help change somebody's life for the better.
Very well said. And at this time, I want to do a shout out to my producer, Mark Winter. He is the surgeon of sound, the wizard of paws, and the executive director of Pet Life Radio, which is the largest pet radio network on the planet. One day we'll get to Mars. We're patient. Also, if you want, check me out at ardenmoore.com. I really enjoyed having Brooke on our show, and I consider you a friend, and I do appreciate the service that you've done in the Army and you're still doing now, Brooke.
Well, I appreciate it. Again, thank you so much for this opportunity. It's fantastic.
And you even did a cadence. We got you to sing. Come on.
I did. I haven't done one of those in a while. Silas is sitting next to me, and he wasn't sure what to make of that. So.
Tell your son, all is good, all is good. So, guys, until next time, this is your flea-free host, Arden Moore, delivering just 2 words to all you 2, 3, and 4-leggers out there. Oh, behave.
Coast to coast and around the world, it's Oh Behave with Arden Moore. Find out why cats and dogs do the things they do, and get the latest buzz from wagging tongues and tails in Rin Tin Tinseltown. From famous pet experts and best-selling authors to television and movie stars, you'll get great tail-wagging pet tips and have a fur-flying fun time. All Behave with America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore. Every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.